He dumped me while brushing his teeth. Toothpaste in his mouth. No warning, no fight, just done. 1 week later, I saw him on every tabloid in America, wrapped around an A-list celebrity like I had never existed. And that was the moment I decided something dangerous. If he wanted someone famous, fine. I would become unforgettable. If you've ever been underestimated, replaced, or made to feel small by someone who thought they'd upgraded, this story is going to hit home. So hit like, subscribe, and settle in, because this is the kind of revenge that doesn't destroy someone else, it rebuilds you. The breakup that broke more than my heart. I was fresh out of the shower in his short-term Los Angeles rental. Steam filled the bathroom. I felt soft, vulnerable, still warm from the water. 3 months earlier, I'd met him, and by day 3, I was basically living there. He stood at the sink brushing his teeth like this was any other morning. Then, through toothpaste foam, he said it. It's over. No buildup, no emotion, just logistics. He didn't even look at me. He finished rinsing, glanced at me in the mirror, and added, "And wipe your face." I stared at my reflection, drew a circle in the fogged mirror. There it was, a thin strand of white snot hanging from my nose. That was the image burned into my memory. Not heartbreak, humiliation. I wasn't just dumped, I was reduced. He was 7 years older, successful, international, first-class flights, fancy watch, calm authority. He wasn't a boy, he was the man. He had standards. He told me early on he only dated women, not girls. I nodded like I qualified, but inside I was scrambling because on paper I looked impressive. I was in a band, signed to a major label, I had modeled as a kid, my dad had performed one of the most iconic TV theme songs of all time. People assumed I came from money. The truth? It wasn't my band. I played bass, backup vocals. The frontmen wouldn't let me write. I hadn't been paid, my modeling career had dried up, no trust fund, no car, no apartment. I was 30. Sleeping in a friend's guest room, waiting to be saved. And I think he sensed that. He'd ask, "What do you really want?" I'd shrink. "To be happy, to be with you." Wrong answer. Every time. He didn't want devotion, he wanted autonomy. The final straw. One morning during what he called an adult conversation, he pushed me to confront my band about not paying me. I made the call. It turned into a fight. I realized they'd been stringing me along, so I quit. On the spot. I thought he'd be proud. I thought this proved I was brave. Instead, he ended it. That same week, a friend gently told me he'd moved on to someone famous. Not influencer famous, not C-list famous, A-list. Before I even processed it, it was everywhere. TV, my phone, magazines at checkout. There they were, laughing, canoodling, headlines glowing. And the worst part? She starred in the show whose theme song my dad helped make iconic. His family had once asked me if I'd ever met the cast. I hadn't, but now they would. I didn't eat for days. I slept in broken fragments. I replayed every conversation, every look he gave me that I mistook for admiration. Then his mother emailed me a photo from our recent visit. She didn't know I'd been replaced. That was it. Something in me snapped. I said it out loud. He will see me. He will hear me. He won't be able to escape me. To get him back, or get back at him, I would have to become famous. Petty? Yes. Powerful? Even more so. But here's the twist. My revenge didn't start glamorous. It started on the LA city bus. I got a job hostessing at a restaurant. I wrote one song per day. Not good songs, just honest ones. I scheduled meetings, scraped for studio time, carried my keyboard across town. Meanwhile, tabloids showed him moving into her Malibu mansion, ocean views, engagement rumors, paparazzi smiles. I got fired from the restaurant. Why? I was crying on the floor mid-shift. Not ideal in hospitality, but creatively, something had shifted. For the first time in my life, I wasn't hiding behind anyone. Not my dad, not my band, not a man. Every ounce of humiliation turned into fuel. Months later, I got a random call from a director I barely knew. He was producing a pilot. Want to pitch a song? Sure. I wrote something raw, real. It caught the creator's attention. He said casually, if we get picked up, maybe you could write for every episode. I smiled politely. I'd heard that before. Too good to be true. Except, it happened. The show got picked up. Suddenly, I had 10 original songs to write and record. I was even cast in a small role. I was on TV. Me. Not as someone's girlfriend, not as backup. Me. The breakup song. Right as momentum built, I learned he got engaged. It hit hard. I dug up the breakup song I'd written during that first week of devastation. The ink-smudged pages, the tears. I pitched it. The producers cried. In Hollywood, that's currency. The song got placed. Billboards went up around town for the show. The same magazines that once featured his love story now mentioned mine. Invitations came for the LA premiere. They asked me to perform the breakup song live. Of course they did. Premiere night. White silk on, clingy, intentional. A black car dropped me off. Flash bulbs exploded. Holly, over here. My name echoed from every direction. 2 years ago, I was crying on a restaurant floor. Now I was on a red carpet. I reached the end, turned around to breathe, and there he was, behind me, with her, having their own moment. He looked uncomfortable. She waved brightly. I locked eyes with him. He looked away, pretended not to recognize me. That hurt. More than I expected. But here's the difference. 2 years ago, his avoidance would have destroyed me. That night, I didn't crumble. I walked inside, took the stage, and sang. I sang the song I wrote about him, to him, in front of 2,000 people. Every lyric landed, every note steady. I wasn't shaking, I wasn't begging, I was telling the truth. And in that moment, something clicked. He hadn't been my soulmate. He had been my catalyst. He saw something in me I was too afraid to see. He was right. I would never have been happy making sandwiches. I wasn't meant to be saved. I was meant to build. Here's what makes this satisfying. I didn't steal him back. I didn't sabotage their engagement. I didn't expose secrets. I became undeniable. Not an A-list celebrity, but the main character of my own life. I stopped shrinking. I stopped outsourcing my worth. I stopped waiting to be chosen. That red carpet wasn't revenge against him. It was liberation from him. And that's sweeter than humiliation. Because he didn't lose anything, I gained everything. Sometimes revenge isn't about making someone regret leaving, it's about proving they didn't define you. The people who hurt you can become the push that forces you into your own light. And when you finally step into it, you realize you were never the loser. You were just unfinished. If this story gave you chills, hit that like button. Drop a comment and tell me, have you ever turned heartbreak into fuel? And if you love stories where the underdog rises and makes the world watch, subscribe. Because sometimes the best revenge is becoming the person they underestimated.